City fans? Another therapy session from the Talk Corner Talk fellas, Jeremy, Musa, and maybe Oscar will be joining us later on. But we're here to talk about quite a few things. I guess the firing of Lutz, the Austin Houston game. I always get those two names confused, so I'll probably be those. And the team kind of left it to themselves very late to try to get a comeback. So, Jeremy, how are you feeling about this performance?
Mo, I'm going to tell you, I tweeted it out after the game. Haven't had a chance to rewatch it. Still, for me, it's a very forgettable performance. I left feeling like it was a lot more of the same that we've seen all season long. Lots
Right.
of balls in the final third, no end product. Critchley said that in as many words after the game, too. So, um, frustrating. Was really hoping to see this team take a step forward. I know we lost in Vancouver, but I was really hoping that it would be a chance for us to say, okay, you know what? We lost. There were two really poor calls in that game. So now we have a chance to move on from that and take a step forward at home
Mhm.
against a beatable Houston team. And we didn't do it. And I think I guess the question is for you and for anyone else, Mo, what should we expect anything different at this
I
point?
would, I would say probably yes. Especially now that we're not covering just by half. I would say the entire game it
Sure.
showed us that it depends on where the team shows up, right? Because majority of the season they were showing up at the beginning of the game, and then
Mhm.
after that, it kind of died down towards the end. But the Houston game was the complete opposite of that. At 3-0, we thought it was the end of the game pretty much, but it just took one spark to kind of bring a little bit of that energy and sauce back into the game for to finish it properly. When, to be honest, most people were starting to walk their way out of the stadium from that.
Well, I mean, especially when it was 3-0 after the third goal. And I guess, Mo, I don't know if you want to back up and talk about the lineup at all, since since I'm sure there were some folks that were raising questions. I think even Taylor Twellman had at least one tweet about the starting 11 and at least one name that was missing, by that being Falu Fall.
Yep.
Um, I don't know where we want to start with this one.
Let's go ahead and jump out straight to the roster, and especially that we now have Oscar to join us,
Hey,
the
Oscar, how you doing,
man, the
sir?
legend himself.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey, just another therapy session with some good friends of ours.
Yep.
So
Another
yes, so
day, another.
so I guess the first question is, Jeremy, now that we have Oscar here, so
Yep.
let's go ahead and talk about the starting lineup first.
Yeah, so I mean, the starting lineup. I think the real change and only real conversation point there too was no Falu fall. So your front six were unchanged with Hartle, Ostrak, Sangbin, and Klaus. Edu Leuven behind them in the double pivot. The first change was Alfredo Morales in for Chris Durkin. So that was one change. And then the second change comes in the back line, where from left to right, you end up with Padelford, Baumgartel, Kessler, and then Conrad Vollum again in at right back again, and Roman Berkey in goal. So the two talking points, at least for me, guys, Morales in with Leuven, and then where is Falu Fall? Not that he had a great game, but you spend over $3 million on a center back. Where is he, and why is he not starting?
Oscar?
I mean, I was shocked too. So, I mean, if you spend the money and you have nothing to lose, just give him minutes. Start getting him ready to next season and all the things that needs to be done. So I don't understand why he keeps doing that. And I mean, it's not like the other two are doing bad, but at the same time, like the first game he played, and he played a full 90 or close to a full 90, I can't remember, but he did a great job. He did great game, solid defensively, good with the ball, getting confidence. And then you take that off. They call him man of the match, and then you take that off in the next following game, and you have him sit. And then the next one doesn't travel for X or Y reasons. We know that.
Yeah.
And then the next one, you have him sit again. So it's like, what's the point?
So do you think it was maybe one of the factor where um, not traveling, and then after that kind of fitness, or if just a safe bet to have those guys that have been injured for so long being the starting 11? Do you think
So
any of that?
I think he mentioned Critch mentioned a little bit of that he was satisfied how Kessler and
Timo?
Timo developed on Vancouver and how they played, so he wanted to keep them on that way. And I was like, well, then I'll go and ask him why he didn't do the same thing when Falu and Timo played against Nashville. That you have one of your best games, win the game, and then you go the next game to Chicago and you change everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're exactly right, Oscar. The quote from Critch is one of where he says he wants consistency, citing the fact that when he came into the club 12 or into the job 12 weeks ago, he was forced to be changing the lineup a lot due to injuries. So he says, I don't want to chop and change the lineup now at every chance. I want to start to build consistency. And based on the performance in Vancouver, he thought Kess and Kess and Baumgartel, wrong German, deserved the start. Though he did say at the end of that quote that Falu has played his way into contention for next week, and that doesn't shock me.
Yeah, and I guess I guess for me it looks like it's a little bit more of those factors, um, but that's a good question, Oscar. If you're going to reward the player for a good performance in a previous game, then maybe that's the thing that you want to continue showing the rest of the team. So I think the last, I would say the next game we'll see how that actually works out.
Well, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
go ahead,
he
Oscar.
needs to be consistent. So like because he comes and says, hey, he's trying to get uh Grant uh the starting 11 to the ones that they're doing good and try to get consistency. But then, like I said, two weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he didn't do it. So is it just because right now he wants it, or just like a preference of the two guys that they're playing more now, and we go back again? It's like, okay, so you get a new player, you spend a lot of money, and then you're not gonna use him just because you have a preference with the other two. I mean, if
Yeah.
Do you think it's about trying to determine? So I guess here's my thought. So Kessler is a free agent. His contract is up. He has an option as an expensive defender. Are we trying to evaluate Kessler with different partners in the back line? Do we think that that's where this is? It's because we've got 6 games left now. Is that the decision with Kessler? I get consistency, but when you have so much roster turnover coming, I hate to say it, but what's the point of consistency at this point? Nothing's been consistent about results. So why?
That's a good point. And I think the other part is if you want your younger player ish to adapt and be ready to play, I'm not sure the whole up and down work, playing a certain amount of game and then not playing your rhythm, and you can definitely see that on some of his passes during the game. That's, the sync with the rest of your team is kind of missing, which led to one goal, but I'm sure we'll cover that later on. But it looks like
I mean,
the combination for our center backs will still be missing if we keep on maybe picking the wrong pieces for
Mhm.
the future.
I will say, going for just a second to the other guy, Morales, that other change we mentioned. I wasn't upset to see that, knowing that I felt we were overexposed in the middle of the park a lot in Vancouver. After Morales had played really well a couple games back alongside Leuven. So I was really happy with that. And I thought in the first half, especially, it worked really, really, really well, that double pivot and that defensive approach. I really liked what I saw in the first half. But I mean, what do you guys think about that change with the Durkin Morales change? Anything to read in there too? Again, Morales is a free agent. Durkin is a free agent. I believe both have options, but Durkin would no longer be a U22. Any thoughts as to why we're seeing that change?
That's a good question.
I would think. I mean, going back to the Nashville game,
Mhm.
that was my solid two center mids, like having Lewin and Morales, and they work perfect. So this is when you don't understand Critch, Critch's ways, because you you came back for that thinking, okay, so that was my midfield that day, and let's see what happens. And I think during the first half, like they performed well. Like there
Mhm.
was nothing like bad or like out of sync or anything like that. I think there was a good balance in the midfield that, like I've been saying all year, Morales brings that balance into the midfield. Um, and then when you got the change for the last minutes, you were trying to get more offensive, so that's why like you put Dorkin in, because we know that he likes to go more into the attack,
Mhm.
kind of like a box to box, and I mean he sent the cross for the goal, the second goal. Obviously, we'll talk about it later, but it just like it's funny for me that he picks and chooses what he wants to go back to. I think yes, we talk about the two center backs. Now we're talking about the two center mids that he went back to, your solid ones. And then my other one that I question is like having the right back, um, giving Wallen more time again. And I think it's kind of frustrating for, if I was Orozco, it would be very frustrating because you bring a kid to the first team, you give him a contract, you play him 3 games, and then now you don't play him. And it goes back to like you're ruining his confidence. I mean, he made a couple mistakes, but I mean, Timo has made 17 mistakes during the season. Kessler has made mistakes. Heber has made mistakes when he played. Jaro has made mistakes. Like so, like everybody on the back has made mistakes. So, are you punish him now just because that happened? When he's just a kid and he's just earned his place in the first team. So like that one concerns me a little bit because we want Orozco to build confidence in the first team and in the MLS environment. And the thing that you're doing right now is completely opposite.
I see the point, and I think that's what we probably saw towards the end of the first season and more of the second, where you see when things started to go a little bit bad during your season. That's when you're starting to see changes that maybe the coach sees as like the safer bet, which is like the more senior players versus giving the opportunities to the younger players.
Mhm.
Do you feel that kind of looks like maybe where he's playing for his job? So kind of tend to then look more towards the guys that technically are seniors players, because we saw that with the Migi and others, right? The moment the win was the priority and the win was a must win to keep your job, that's when you're starting to see more of the senior players be on the roster and the youth or the future go either on the bench and which then gradually find himself in City 2.
So the thing with the right wing, the right back position, I mean, you can talk about a Roscoe, and here's my thing: if you have made a decision as an organization that Vollum doesn't fit in that role, right? Like I think a lot of fans, and I'll even include myself, have thought Vollum is a right winger or a wing back. He fits a 5-back formation or a 3, as a winger in a 3-back, whatever you want to call it, right? In a 4-back position formation, I don't want to see him as a defensive player. I I don't know if we're still evaluating if we're going to pick up the option with him. And if we are not, it says more to me and is more troubling for Totland, who has fallen to third in the pecking order behind playing two other guys out of their best positions, in my opinion, over him. So that's my bigger concern because Tots has been the guy we've depended on for how many seasons now? Two, three, 2.5, whatever it's been for him here. So I'm concerned about that. And Orozco, I think, still has time. I mean, unless he's going to be a rotation guy with Padelford, but you know what I mean. That's my concern: is where does he fit in, and how does he fit in?
And also the question is he performing based on what we need him to on in that position? Because it looks like last game he may have gotten cooked a few times.
Well, he's not the thing that was interesting as far as Vollum too. I mean, he's not a good defender. I mean, he gave away the late foul in Vancouver that led to the equalizer, I believe. He just isn't a great defender. So I don't know if the plan is to just have you want the attackers on the wings, and that's why. I just still scratch my head because I just don't understand. If you think he's not going to be here next year, I hate to say it, put him back on the bench and use him as a sub. Or play him as a winger. Rotate him in for Song Ben or for someone on the left if you're going to move Hartle back in the middle when Ostrak comes out. Play him in an attacking role. Let him be an attacker and not a defending player first.
Yeah, I agree. So they want him for the attacking qualities, and he has shown some of it, but it's not enough to like given the full position of the right back just for the attacking mindset because he's not creating that much either.
No.
He has a couple crosses, he gets his runs and such, but it's not as effective as you would like if you're gonna use him for that. Um, if you're really trying to figure out where he fits, then adjust the formation. Maybe start playing again three on the back and start using wingers to see if something that it will work out. Have a plan B for next year or something. But hey, again, we don't know who's gonna coach next year. So um, it's those type of scenarios where if he is like you said, he's the best on the right wing, like higher on the right wing. He had his best minutes in this season that he had probably 30 or 60 minutes tops. But that was when he best developed. The rest he was being used as a fullback and has made mistakes, have been cooked multiple times. He has been out of position. He doesn't go on well in challenges. He gives silly fouls. So if they're evaluating him and see if they pick him for next year, there, they're not doing him a favor, in my opinion. Um, and then the other two, like it's a concern of so Tots, what's gonna happen to Tots? Like
Yes.
he was a right back for 2.5 years, and now is gone, literally. And then Orozco, he's like a multi-position tool, I guess, for Critch right now because when he wants to put him on the left back, he puts him, and right back, center back. So it's good for him that he is such a useful player in that end, but he hasn't even played on his preferred position according to what we thought it was at the beginning, that it was a center mid.
I'm just so torn with where I think Orozco's best position is, because I was talking to some folks from RSL, because he came from Real Monarchs, right? They said they felt he best profiled as a left center back, not as a wing back or a fullback. So I'm curious, does he become a depth center back? Like does he take the spot of a Hebert or a Yarrow, right? So like, or does, because I mean, if you think on the left side of that defensive pairing, you've got Baumgartel who's there, you've got Fall who's going to be there, presumably starting, or at least I would hope next season, or is Orozco the third option there? Is he going to be your depth player or the backup or the starter should Padelford's move not somehow be made permanent? I'm wondering where his best position is, and if we figured out how to deploy him in that position consistently. Because I think the kid's got some talent. He has some development to do probably still. But I like what I mean. Hazi, didn't he make team of the match week of what, 3-4 weeks ago? I thought he did.
Yep, he did.
Then he gets benched.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I also don't, for that matter, as far as Durkin goes, to go back to that conversation, I think we saw, especially in the second half, he's a box-to-box mid. This conversation about him being a 6 to me is done, because he's the guy that put in that cross for the second goal. Joiner's header came from Durkin getting forward and delivering a good cross across the face of goal. He is a box-to-box midfielder. I'm, as much as I have clamored and claimed and begged for him to be that stay-at-home 6, I think I have to admit defeat, wave the white flag, and say he's not that, and just accept it.
Yeah, and plus defensively, he has shown that maybe have with little temper, you know, tend to kind of attract yellow cards and the attention of the refs. So might as well just put him on the right side and let him do crosses. I would be good with that. But now the question is for next year, will he be one of those starters, or because that's from what I'm hearing from you now is like looks like we're assessing quite a lot of players now and still expecting to get wins as well.
It looks like Oscar's got a question in the chat too. That's going to be a fun conversation too. I think with Durkin, it depends on if you determine, well, here's the problem. Who are we making these decisions for? Who's our coach? And are they going to agree with that being how, like, Hackworth or Diego, you, me, Oscar, anybody else with a show can sit here and say, this is how we best think to deploy it. But until that guy is hired, he might say we're all idiots and we know nothing. We're just talking heads on YouTube, right? So that's a worry. But we do have to evaluate him, because he comes off of the U22 the U22 mechanism. He's not going to be a U22 player, so his cap hit goes from $250,000 to his full salary, which is over $500,000 a year. So that's a big decision this team's got to make, and I'm not sure how you evaluate that.
Sounds like the team has a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah, and if you think that City doesn't play with a box-to-box midfield system, City plays because it's not, the formation is not built to have a player like let's get sentimental in here, like a good Frank Lampard, a good Steven Gerrard, like those type players that they were always in the attack, right? Our system doesn't give that opportunities, because he doesn't even give it to Lewin is not consistent in the attack, because he knows he has to keep that balance in the midfield too. Yep. And that's why we struggle sometimes to build up offensive plays, because he has to stay bringing that balance. So I wouldn't keep Durkin, not because he's not a good player, well, he's a bad player. I think it's just because what you mentioned, Jeremy,
Mhm.
getting out that U22 is gonna be a lot more money, and the system is not really fit for a player like that style. We need to change him and bring our the one that we have been requesting for 6 months, a real six.
Yeah, right. And our good friend Dad asked a very good question that maybe we should answer that online. So how do we know that the new coach will like Sangbing or Fall? Other than he probably don't have a choice since those are some very high salary players.
Well, I, I think it's going to depend on who you bring in the offseason.
Mhm.
What do we do in the transfer window? If you look at the roster as it is, what other options do you see as options that we could resign today? They're going to take that spot from Sang Bin. Celio maybe is a rotation guy. I'm not sure if Celio has hit his ceiling. Um, who else are we going to bring up? Joiner from City or not? Or Joiner? I'm thinking of McSorley. McSorley plays a lot on the wing for City too. Is he going to be the rotation piece? But I don't think he starts over Sangbin. So I just unless you bring somebody else in, considering the club's already spent 1.6 million on him, I don't think they're looking for a replacement for him.
Nah, that'd be madness. That's a lot of money. Um, that's almost 5 million we're talking about these two guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't be looking for a replacement unless they know they're gonna get money from selling same thing. Let's
Yeah.
say that. Like if it's so successful this end of the year for him that he
Mm-hmm.
gets a good offer, then maybe that would come into place. But at this point, no. I think like you have to build and the coach that they bring should be ready to work with, especially those two that they just came in. Um, and I mean, Sam Ben, it hasn't been overall like amazing, but he has shown a lot more fire than the ones that they were playing the rest of the season. Like that, that's 100% because it's just the effort, the speed, the hassling for every ball has shown more in 5 games, 6 games that he has been than the rest of them. Um, he still has to work a lot in cleaning his touches, cleaning his passes, cleaning his possessions with the ball. But I think he has a good future in the team. And then Falu, we saw a great game, and then the rest have been subs, and fortunately has made mistakes like everybody else. So um, we don't know what Falu can bring, but at the same time, I I sent this message to someone on Facebook because they were like already trashing him, and it's like he has play one full game and then subs, and he's a 21-year-old. Give it a break.
I
21.
mean, everybody's going to make a mistake. It. The thing that sucks for that in that one instance is that's going to get a ton of attention because that ultimately ended up being the winning goal, right? Like it's going to get magnified because of the way the game ended. I think if the game had ended 3-0, we're not going to pay as much. Like, yeah, we'll talk about it, but it's not like to me a bigger impact. Like, but you see plays like that all the time. Like, it's just he's under a microscope because of we know the price tag and because of the club's reputation for being cheap in the transfer window. It's going to get more magnified and not fair to him necessarily, but I'm not saying that should define anything about what we've seen from Faldu Fall. It was a mishit under pressure and it just turned
Yeah,
into a goal.
and then
Yeah.
so and if you talk about like okay, so there's mistakes. Who made a mistake in the first goal?
Was it
If
Baumgartel?
anybody recall, yeah,
Wasn't
it's
marking?
his mark, and then he got tool out basically. He just got pushed away, and let let the guy hit a header free. So
and then the on
why
goal.
nobody's talking? Why nobody's talking about that? Because for people, they just think that, oh, it was a play, it was a great cross. No, he just got boxed out. And you, as a center back, you cannot get boxed out.
And it was a free
You
header
know,
too. It's not like they were
it's
both in the air and he got out. No, it was he was on the ground
he
looking
got
out,
out
and the
muscle.
guy
He
was
got out muscle. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's
So
it's one of those points. I don't like to point at players and names, but it it shows. I think people have short term memory for the obvious one, but
Well,
the all three goals were gifts. City
yeah.
gifted those three goals pretty much. So each
Yep.
there's a player that has a name on each of those goals.
and they
So
were all the center backs.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so it's like they all have given a gift, and that's what even the coach mentioned it, right? That we beat ourselves because it was all gifts.
Yeah.
Our goals were more goals than theirs.
I'm trying to think. Did they force any big saves from Berkey? I'm
I
trying
think
to
he
think
had one
about
or
that.
two, didn't he?
Let me look. I'm looking at the
It was
shot
maybe
count.
one.
He had one save off of Ezekiel Ponce in the 70th minute. It's the only save according to FB Ref. So they had a block shot, a goal, a block shot, two other shots off target in the first half, a save in the 70th minute, another goal, which was the freebie in the 72nd, and then another miss off target in the 74th. So Berkey was not under pressure in this game.
No, and I think it's one of those mental mistakes that pretty much beat ourselves. And I guess the part that they don't mention is that there was also some very easy goals that could have gone our way that did not go in. So it looks like it's a huge mixture of the defense is giving away goals and the offense, even though they are scoring every game, 2, 3 goals, the easy ones are not going in, which would have definitely changed the course of the game if we were 2-1, down 2-1 for an extra 30 minutes. That probably would have been a different result than having to come back from 3-0.
City
There was
dominated the
the
first. Go ahead, Oscar.
sorry. There was the 1-1 situation where Klaus misses the wide open cross from Sambin, would have make it 1-1 on the 40th minute. Um, and I'm not gonna say, "Oh, Klaus, come on, like trash player." No, nothing like that. Everybody can miss goals. Everybody can miss
Yeah.
goals. Unfortunately, that one was a very wide open option that you expect them to put in. But at the same time, like if you go just yesterday in the final of the League's Cup, uh,
Mhm.
no other than Lionel Messi had a wide open opportunity and skies it too. So everybody can have those moments. So unfortunately, Klaus gets those uh, often. He still scores, but he gets them often as well. Like he missed some of them that you're like, oh come on, man. Uh, but going to my point of all this and rambling, I'm rambling, but is that Klaus made a mistake, right?
True.
He missed the goal.
Yeah.
But what happened? He is not a defender. He's not the center back that if he makes a mistake, most likely it's a goal.
Yeah.
That is a big difference from and what everybody on perspectives when they criticizing players normally they criticize the ones on the back because if they did mistakes leads to a goal leads to an opportunity while center forward or right wing left wing they made mistakes they made a bad pass they just forget about it they say oh well it's okay we'll have another one.
Well, and the thing with Klaus, and just I know we're not Oscar, you're not the XG's guy like me, right? But that was the second highest XG opportunity of the entire game. So it was a high quality chance that he missed. But the point that I want to make about Klaus is he didn't quit. He didn't get frustrated. Like, he might have been frustrated, but he didn't quit. He kept trying. And in the second half, he had a couple chances to tie it. He had a couple shots. He had a chance in the 83rd minute. And then he had that header in stoppage time that was the highest. Let's see here. So I want to just really quickly check myself. Yeah, it was the second highest post shot expected goal of the game, 0.80, based on the distance to the goal and where the ball was. It had an 80% chance of going in the net. So he forced that keeper to make a shot that is only saved 20% of the time. So I heard a lot of folks bashing Klaus in the concourse after the game, and I'm like, I'm frustrated by that, because I understand he's not going to be the guy that delivers us to 30 goal seasons, 25 goal seasons, but he's the best we have. And I don't know. I would really question Critchley if he started Betcher over Klaus right now.
But you can't bench Klaus no matter. Like, at this point, we have be we have seen that you depend on Klaus to build offensive play and to be create any concerns between the center backs. Yes, he misses goals, but at the same time, like, here and there, like, he gets understanding goals that you were not expecting. Like the one in Vancouver after that pass and where he has to cut back, I was like, oh, it's not a goal anymore, and somehow, like, he found a way to score. So you make that, but then you miss the next one that it was a sitter. It it's the unfortunate of what City season has been, like it's just like you get the unexpected, and then the ones that you're like, we're gonna win this, we don't, or like, yeah.
Yeah, and people also tend to forget too that yes, he's doing his job as a forward because he is scoring and everything, but he's also in the midfield and in defense. He's almost like our Swiss knife, right? He's all over the place. I'm, early on we were criticizing him for only playing 70 minutes, even though he was still doing all the work rate. Now he's playing 90 plus minutes or so, or close to 80 to 90 with the same rate that he's doing defensively, because you see him in corners defending headers and others, and in the midfield pressing, and then he's also scoring goals at the same time. I think even just like the video that I posted a while back, I'm starting to get the feeling that anything and everything now that's related to city soccer, someone's going to complain about it just because of the state of where we are with the club in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one is happy about anything. Even if they play well for half, is the half was well, but here's what went wrong. And I think the perfect examples was when people were starting to leave early. And then before you know it, my texts start happening. Is like, what just happened? Because they were out of the stadium, and all of a sudden they hear the whole stadium erupt. Like, yeah, Jordan just scored.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, all that half stadium that left.
yes. And they were all walking and they start asking what happened. I'm like, well, it got a lot more
you
exciting for 15 minutes.
you would have stay on your seat, you would have known.
But yes, so I guess as we go back, so for the second goal, because the first one went to 1-0 and then we went to 2-0. So I have my take when it comes to a 2-0. When I see a 2-0 score and there's still plenty to play, I don't stress as much because we all know what happened to it. But how did you guys feel when you saw the own goal? Were you on a here we go again moment, or how do you guys take it? And definitely want to hear what Oscar, especially on the supporter section, how was that?
I mean, supporter section was hard to manage this entire game. Like it was maybe exciting for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then it just got very quiet, and like just like the middle of the support section was kind of like trying to go. Um, a lot of I would say a lot of new faces. I now start looking at the faces in the sections, and I did not see many of the ones that they're always there. So I knew it was gonna be a rough crowd to motivate. Everybody's looking at you like, oh, you think you're a hot shot or whatever, and then they also look like I'm not chanting. I'm too good for this, but I'm here in the supporter section. Duh. Uh, so it
Wow, Oscar.
just it's it's just annoying. Trust me. It like I'm over there like, and I get the appreciation. Like a few people when I went to refill my cup or like took my break or something, like they're like, "Hey man, good job." Like there's some people like obviously appreciate it, and it's cool, and that's why like I still like do it because it's fun. And knowing that people at least they're not getting annoyed with me. If someone says like, "Oh, shut up," then they're like, "Okay, I won't do it anymore." Um, but it's just those that they're going. I get it. Is the cheapest ticket to find. I get it. All that scenario, but I just like just try to move your mouth here and there, like, and don't look at me like I'm better than you and I'm not doing it
Oh,
because
I
it
always
doesn't
say
make sense.
I say those tickets are not the cheapest tickets because that ticket comes with another part of the job that you have to do is uh, chant and stand. So I think I don't know. I always joke. I say it's not
Well, but I mean,
the
with the
yeah.
random people, like they're just buying tickets. They said the cheapest ticket, and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna spend that much money. I'm just gonna go there, and I'm not gonna chant because I'm too good for it. Uh, But anyways, supporter section, second goal definitely like just hit hard. Like it just definitely went down a lot more. Um, we there was no frustration per se, like nothing like people getting upset, getting offensive, getting any type of scenario like that. And I'm not talking about me. I'm at this point of season. I'm like, I'm just there for the fun. I'm not
Mhm.
really, you
Was
know.
so was
But
Aaron there or you were
Aaron
looking
was
at it the
there.
other
he
way?
was, yeah.
Aaron was
But I
down there.
think
He
I
was in the
think
middle.
they were all still cheering. I mean,
Mhm.
we know like the people that they're, let's say, hardcore. Like the people that give everything every game. We all cheer for 90, and then after the 90 we might get upset, we might get here a little mad or whatever, but um during the 90, like the ones that we care, we all cheering, like
Mhm.
we're not stopping, we're all going.
So Oscar, before we move forward, so here's
Mm.
the perfect. I think Aaron has the right thing. This is what he said that the next tifo.
Try to move your mouth here and there.
With a picture of Oscar shirtless. That's what we need. I mean, the
There's an
passion would
idea.
definitely be there. The passion would be reflected in that. 100. Yeah, Oscar. The number of times I've seen that exact face in a picture this year, I swear it's like almost every other game, dude.
Yeah, and then I was so happy when they actually got me like two pictures where I'm not yelling or
oh
screaming, and I'm just one I was smiling, and then the other one I was playing soccer. So
yeah, no, so I was on the opposite side. I'm normally over in 120. And there were some periods where it was definitely noticeably quiet on the right side of the north end. The second goal, I can't still I will admit I was getting ice cream, so I can't speak to.
Ah.
Hey, no, look, it was fine. No, so I would have been back, but mayo ketchup didn't have the Nutella empanadas, so I was
Oh.
getting the second option that my girlfriend requested. So it's fine. I'm not mad at it. It's not a big deal, even though I missed goals against Aston Villa for the same reason, but I'm not bitter about it at all. Anyway,
or
but no,
keeping track. You're just keeping
right.
track.
No, not at all. Never that. No. And in any way, no, but
Stay
it
out of
was
trouble.
noticeably the energy was down. and it felt like, now I will say on the flip side, not to jump too far ahead, when we got the goals, my God, did it feel alive again, like in a big way, especially after joiners.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like 100%. Because I mean, we got back into the game and we were like, oh, maybe it will happen that we get the third goal and we tie. So like I said, we all cheer, we all get on it, but I mean, the team has to help a little bit, just like a little bit. And for 85 minutes, they were not really helping. Um, there was not much happening. There was and even when they had some chances, like there were still like those misses that you're like, oh, and that's what where Mo says like, here we go again. We're just gonna miss and miss and miss. But no, I mean we try and we did. I think until the 65 or 70 minute, I think I was in the stand, and then I went down to the first row just to enjoy a little time with my wife and doing a flag a little bit too. So I even like I did the first goal. I think I did the flag because we were all like so caught off our guard, and it was like, okay, come on, let's go. Oh, it was my wife, and then I think I did the second one, the second goal. But anyways, like it was just like so out of nowhere that we're like, oh my god, let's go, just do something.
But we saw
So-
her on the big screen too, waving the flag.
We did.
Yeah.
So to your guys' point, I think you've both now said at different times the "here we go" idea. Leuven said that after the game too. And his quote was like, "There were a lot of things we could have done better, being more efficient in front of the goal. The goals we conceded, it's just here we go again and talk about the same thing again. It's too easy. I think we lose. We have too many easy ball losses. Houston wasn't a team that should have scored 3 goals tonight, but we just gave it to them."
And before we move forward, Jeremy, there's a lot of people that said it is your fault and then it's Kevin's fault. So just saying.
So all right, fine. All right, chat. If that's the game we're playing.
Jeremy.
No, hold on. I'm gonna ask the chat. If this is the game we're playing, what's my punishment then? I will be fair to the chat and hold myself accountable if that's what we're gonna say. Forget the 11 guys on the pitch and the guy on the bench running the show. And Diego up top. What's my punishment if it's my fault? Am I banned for the game against Dallas? What are we doing?
Chat,
no, stop going.
Up to you
stop
guys.
going and buying food for your girlfriend. She can do this.
Hey, that puts me in a different doghouse. I can be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that one.
Hey, I do a lot of things, and out of the stadium, you can send me to do every single thing in the world, and my wife will tell me to go do this and do that and do it, and I'll do it. In the stadium, no. I'm there.
You're working. You're chanting in the flag. We all know.
No, even if I'm not in, even if I'm not in that, like no, in the stands, I'm in the stands.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, Jeremy, maybe just pick your bottle and say like, hey, the stands is my zone, and then just like.
All right,
Jeremy, I don't recommend that. So we'll just go.
Hey, by the way, I think my wife is just about to murder me behind me, but it's okay.
It's recorded.
Oh,
we
man,
know.
dude. Oh,
she's
Tim,
listening, so she's like,
Tim, I have to. Oh man. Oh. I mean, if I could do that, I can. I could do that. Oh God. And now my scarf collection is now I'm catching all. You know what? It's fine. I'll figure it out. Maybe it's all the above. It's fine.
No
guys.
scarf.
No new scarves. Not like I haven't added enough of those in the last week. Anyways, fellas, I mean, Leuven, you guys have said it. Leuven said it. We gave this game to Houston. Any other thoughts from you guys? Do you agree with what he said?
100%. And I think it's just the mentality, right? One team has scored. You know, when you score goals that you're not expecting to score yourself, then that's where your mental state, is higher. And you could definitely see that they were pressing a lot more, where we typically don't see him do it. And I think it was just this question of City being on the other side where it's 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I definitely have to commend them is, or even the coach is, he's thought about bringing Joyner on because one thing that we keep talking about, right, for a long time is that maybe some of the players don't have the same, sweat for the badge, like we would call it,
Mhm.
where Joyner has showed you that, he wanted to show something to the club and maybe even thank him for the being on the first team,
Mhm.
where he was a lot more aggressive and moving a lot. He was less safer than the guys that were on the field. And I think that's where even we gotta give credits it's due when Betcher also came in. You saw that he was a lot more aggressive as well. So he might not be our top goal scorer, right? But one thing that you cannot take away from him is that he will have his less than desirable action when you're playing against him, which kind of I don't know if Oscar did that when he was playing, and I was too. But all the trash talking tried to kind of get in their head and push the ball, push them, kick the ball away. I think we were kind of missing that from the nicer guys that we had on the field. But the Houston, Austin, and all that, they were starting a lot of the fights and getting into our heads. And
Yeah.
that is a big play that I think we've been missing for quite a while. Where it's like they should want to come to Energizer Park, City Park, and it's like these fans are crazy. The players are, you know, make it a fortress like it used to be. Now they all know they can come in, take their 3 points,
And
and go
take three
home.
points. Yep.
And
Yeah. It.
people are not even standing. I kid you not. Now I'm the one that almost feel like the a hole. If I'm standing to
Mhm.
watch
Right.
the game, and you could see around the stadium maybe there was a few discussions, people that wanted to stand, and
Mhm.
everybody else around you were sitting. Like it looks like it's on and off the pitch now that things are looking different, which players are seeing as well. Even though they praise, the fans, but you can definitely see the atmosphere is a little different these days.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the energy in the stadium has changed. This whole season has not been a fortress playing at home. Last year obviously has played in a toll too that it wasn't that good. I don't remember the stats of 2023, but I think we were extremely hot at home. Like it was like a nightmare to play at City Park. Um, I don't know. It just this year it doesn't feel that they don't come up. The first 15 minutes, it's not like you're trying to demolish the rival, and I feel like that needs to happen every single game, especially when you're here. And if you want to pump the crowd and you want to have people like you're saying standing and being that 12 men into the field, you have to come out showing that you want them to be participant on that. Um, I know like I used to make kind of like fun of like Hertel that when he was going to the corners, he was the best moments of Hertel's in the field was pumping up the crowd in the corners. But now it's not even that. Now they're just go corners and they're just walking little clap or whatever
Mhm.
because the people in the corner get excited to see them close to them and so on. But there's not even that or you get a shot on goal and the goalie saves him and there's not a player that goes, come on guys, come on, pick
Mhm.
up. Like you don't see one of them. Um, or Berkey makes a good save and or a defender makes a good block or something and they're not going like, come on guys, like we all need there's no that relationship between the player and the crowd.
Mhm.
And it makes completely sense that now everybody sits, everybody's very quiet. They don't want to do anything. Even like the people who go to the supporter section, they don't even want to be motivated by it. Um, you see comments on social media here and there that they go back and criticizing uh flags, people yelling, people doing
Oh,
it's
of the
just
supporter section.
nonsense. Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess they
I mean,
forgot the signs.
the first season there were tons of comments about the flags and how big they were, and you can't see and all this stuff. But guys, it sucks to say this, but it's I wonder. So I'm trying to think about how to word this because in the first season in 2023 in league play, City took points in 13 of the 17 games. They went 11 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses at home in 2023. I don't know what happened, but in 2024 that dropped a little bit. In 2024, City was just 7-5-5 in league play, so just 2 wins better at home. And then this year, it's been again, it's just part of the nightmare season that City has had. This year at home, we're 4-4-6. So we went from 11 wins the first season to 7 in the second, down to 4 this year. I know there's been injuries. I know we've had roster changes and coaching changes and philosophy and systems and all this, but is it fair to expect the fans to feel like there's an obligation to be bringing that same energy that we brought in 23 at this point?
Ooh.
I mean, look, again, the supporter
Wait.
section is I can't talk. The supporter section, I think, is a different thing. You have to separate that out, right? Like, do we agree there? Like, supporter section that's where you expect that die hard, as Oscar put it, to be, right? That energy shouldn't drop. Everywhere else around the stadium, I could see it to an extent, but I feel like the supporter section, and I'm not going to criticize the supporter section wholly. I feel like for the most part, some of the drops have been understandable.
Um,
Yeah.
I would say, and I I was on someone made a comment too. Like, I mean, I've been a little active on the Facebook groups
Oh boy.
this weekend, but I mean nothing offensive or anything. But
Oh yeah.
it just because there was someone saying or pointing out that a lot of people were requesting refunds for season tickets for next year, that they don't want to do them anymore. Then
Mhm.
and it was like, hey, like if you don't want them, there's plenty of people that want to be. And I saw the comment, someone saying that, and then I said, someone responded to that comment and said like, well, we're not the amount of money that we're spending and all the things, like I'm not paying more for a bad product. Like I don't want to come see a losing team. So I chime in and I say like, well, then you're not a fan, you're a customer,
Ooh.
because there is a difference between a fan and a customer. And I tell them like, I'm not trying to be offended. I'm not telling you how to be a fan or not, but the definition or the way that you're putting it out is that you don't want to go to the stadium and you don't want to support the team because the quality of the team is bad. So that just puts you as you are as a customer, because you're just spending money to see a good product or to buy a good product, right? If I go to the let's say I go to Best Buy, that nobody goes to Best Buy anymore, but if I go to Best Buy to buy a TV, if I want to spend a lot of money, I get good quality. I'm a customer. I'm buying a product that I want that to perform well. But in the stadium, if you want to be called a fan goes and with a good quality product or a bad quality product. Because at the end of the day, a fan wants to follow the team for the passion of the game, for the passion of the team, for the love of your crest, uh, and not for the results. Yes, it becomes a lot easier to follow a team with good results. But as I pointed out on the Facebook group, I waited 15, 20 years to get my team to win a championship back in Colombia. It took 37 years for my team to win it, and obviously I'm 36 right now, so it was time before that. So it took me 15, 20 years to actually see my team win a championship. Did I stop going to the games? Did I stop going to the stadium? No. I was always there. I was always cheering. I was always chanting, and I'm the same thing here. Yes, I get mad and get frustrated, and I try to demand as much as I can as a fan to get um, better results, better performances. But at the same time, I'm still there, and I'm not stopping going to the stadium just because like the season is over. And I'm not gonna say, well, I don't want to go next year. No, I want to go next year because I know we can do better, and we hope that we will do better, and we might see him more challenging positions and maybe trying to win something, because I think our ownership, it's people like it or no, I think the ownership group, they like to win. They're people that they like to win. They didn't get in businesses that they have to lose money. They got in there to win money, and now they want to win things.
Yeah, I'm almost torn about, and I read all those comments, but I try not to respond to it. But I think one of the biggest thing that I see with American sports, I will just say in general, is that sometimes the whole connection to your club team is it's different than some other part of the world. Because I won't say just in Europe, but the part of the world where if you check even like the biggest clubs in the world now, they all started with like in the community, right? So they were small, tiny clubs or one or two friends that started it, and then it became what it became now. So it has kind of like that tied in that relationship with the city itself. So when it's like ingrained that there's clubs that are 100 plus years that have gone from division one all the way to fourth tier, but there's still a handful of people that will go and support that team because it represents more than just a soccer team and the win in others, right? So I think that's where maybe we some of these discussions we see is that yes, it is your professional team that's in your city that maybe you have a few ties with it, but the connections between it's different. Like when I talk about PSG, right? For and I've waited 20 plus years to see a Champions League trophy there. I still hold season tickets and I have not gone to France in over 12 years, right? But at the same time, I understand some of the fans here not happy that the team is bad. And yes, they've spent a lot of money for those tickets.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like, unfortunately, it's almost like part of sport in general. And it's not like we can you can go and cancel your contract if you had it for a year or 3 years or something. Um, but I think it's just the situation where we find ourselves now. Things are so bad that everyone will find a certain way to relieve that frustration. And usually money talks. And I'm sure City is listening and is hearing all of these people saying what they want to cancel and what not cancel. So I think it just depends on the people. You'll see me go and support still. I still have 3 years. I renewed it without even blinking. Um, but I think it's just the relationship that you have with the club. Some spend more time than others. Some spend money, time, sweat, effort.
Mhm.
um, maybe we spend a little bit more time than the average person. So maybe that's why we see it differently than the one that go to the stadium to watch and be entertained. Because
Yeah,
for me, these 90 minutes is like my away from everything. right? So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
complaining is almost, maybe I try to take that away from it because I have plenty to complain about other things outside of the those 90 minutes. But maybe that's
I
where the outlet for others.
Mhm.
so and I think that's the difference that in St. Louis, I don't consider that all these people are soccer passionate fans. They they might like the sport. They are very proud to have a team and they want to be involved in it. But like one of those comments, for example, answer me saying like, "Well, it's like the Cardinals. The Cardinals are not doing good, so now their stadium is empty." And I'm like, "Please don't compare baseball with soccer. It's not the same. Baseball fans and soccer fans are not the same.
No.
It's not the same. And it's not discriminating or getting less importance to what baseball and Cardinals and people are passionate about it. But also, you have 55 games at home or more. I don't know how many the, their season have. Like you have so many, and it's a sport like you really like you don't pay attention 90 minutes into the game. You you just don't like you go to the stadium not to be like this on the field. Like you don't spend the entire time looking at the field. Um, well, I don't either because I'm chanting, but I look at the screen most of the times now. But um, it's just different. So I was like, I respect the people saying like, hey, well, we're paying a lot of money, we should get something. It's like it's especially if you're buying those big seats that are very expensive. I respect that. Um, and I don't expect those people to be the hardcore chanting. Oh, no, I get it, but there's a lot of them around the stadium that when they started, they were all like, "Well, we're diehard fans. We stand up. We never sit. We never quiet. We do so such." Are they still there? Are they sitting now? Or all these people that they were so loud about it, now they're gone and they're just selling their tickets to other people, and that's why people are sitting. Um, that's
I think a
something
lot
like
of that.
it take a lot of that, you know. But um, it goes back to what Mo has been saying a lot is like that self claim best fans in soccer that we want it to be. It Where are they? There's 15% of the stadium that has those probably
Yeah,
that
that
they
that's
they
quite down.
want to be.
Mhm.
You know, if you're the best fans in soccer in the U.S., that stadium should be full every week and should be as loud as it was when you were winning than now that you're losing.
Yeah, I think it's just cultural because you can see in England a lot of the teams that um, don't win normally often, they have chants making fun of themselves, and right. So it's like, is it meant? Everton has funny chants. I think Manchester United had some. There's a whole bunch of other teams that when someone is celebrating in front of
Mhm.
them, they're chanting chants about their team not have won in X amount of time. And
Mhm.
it's like, so why are you celebrating? We know we're bad. So what are you celebrating? So
Yeah.
it's that thing that's you have organic um supporters that will build out with
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
But we're not talking 5, we're not talking about 10, we're talking 20, 30 years, because it starts with the youngins have that culture to bring it up,
Yeah.
because those
Instead of
guys.
Go ahead.
There's groups of people that've been supporters that've been going together with friends for like 20, 30 years to the same stadium. So they have that organic supporter experience. CD can do all they want with the music, the experience and all that, but other than the supporter group and and the some of the podcast guys, the South End guys that
Mhm.
are actually kind of try to build section in the stadium, do you see any other part other than the guys on the opposite of the north side that have an actual that call themselves a supporter thing? No. So it's until you start to see pockets of supporter groups that
Mhm.
have sections within the stadiums themselves that maybe not official supporter groups, but I've saw Chelsea groups where they're
Like
not
a group,
official.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not official, but they're going 20, 30 people deep. And when they start a chant or they start a joke or something, it's spread out on the rest of the stadium. It's not
Mhm.
organized. It's just
Hmm.
happens. You fall asleep at your seat, they will create a chant that says, "These guys been sleeping for 15 minutes." And when he wakes up, they all celebrate. That's just organic. It,
Well,
CD have to build it
they
themselves.
do. I mean, we did have a small group in 120 that were 2 or 3 rows behind where I was, who were I think when Houston got the third goal and were celebrating right in front of us, they were doing the standard United. We lose every week. We lose every week. You're nothing special. We lose every week. Uh,
Yes.
and that's not the first time I've heard that in the North End this year. But guys, question though. So we get the 2 late goals. I do have a question because they asked, Edu was asked about it. This was the first game played since Lutz Pfannenstiel was dismissed as sporting director. Lutz had relationships, close relationships with several of these guys. Um, Edu said that they have to be professional and move on, um, that it's tough. They just have to deal with it. Um, but do you think that anything that we saw on the pitch from the players had to do with Lutz's dismissal?
You want to answer that first?
I mean, here's what I'm gonna say. In my mind, I'm gonna say no because here's why. Did they come out with a huge fire and passion? No. But my problem with City, especially in the first half, was, and Critchley pointed to it after the game, if Houston's going to sit back in a block, you have to move the ball like quick. You can't just side to side, go back here, because if you're moving without urgency, they're going to counter your movement immediately. And by the time it gets from the left side to the right side, if it's not a quick switch, they're going to have adjusted and you're going to be just wasting your time. That's why so much of our attack in the first half never resulted in anything until the end, because the opportunities we got all came on a quick hit counter, on fast movements, on direct play. And in the second half, when we had to push in the 70th minute and beyond, it all became urgent. So we were moving. It's tactics. While I'm sure they were hurting for Lutz and are still hurting for Lutz because they're probably, their relationships are probably beyond player sporting director. For some of them, they're probably friendship. But and so yes, you hurt at that level. But to me, my issue or my honest opinion isn't this is related to Lutz. This is related to just poor execution tactically.
For me, it has nothing to do with it. And the reason why I'm saying that is that majority of those guys have had to deal with coach, sporting directors, assistant coaches being fired left and right. They all built relationship with, if you're in the club, you're spending more time with that group of people than you spend with your family. So they were always will be those relationship being built, and they're all professionals. So it's all been there, done that. Um, Soccer, even though it's a global sport, it's still a small community, and you always know someone from a third, fourth, fifth degree. Um, so I think these guys at this moment, they've seen coach being fired, they see new coaches, they see old coaches. At some point, like Berkey said, it's part of the business. I'm sure they're sent texts, call each other afterward. But if you think about it, is a lot of these players have been around long enough in the club. So you're a professional, just it happens. You like it or not, your job is still to play soccer. Your check is still getting cut, so it happens. The only thing is, if maybe there's a contract discussions, maybe that's where some of the discussion might then turn more, you know, straight business compared to what it was with Lutz. So maybe that's why Diego might have some of those during the negotiation. Maybe that's why things might change a little bit because of how Lutz was able to maybe get some of these guys to come to St. Louis in general. Easier to sell it than if a third party comes and say, "Hey, how about St. Louis?" versus one of someone that you've known probably since you were a teenager. But they came back. They
Yeah,
played.
I mean that's true. Like having that personal touch that he had, but I don't, especially for this game, I don't think if they were upset or anything, I mean they would have come out and be fired up. In my opinion, like if you're like, oh, like what, like the opposite of like, oh, no, wow, we're gonna play bad just because they just fire our sporting director. No, like they're gonna be like different way. I I don't think it was whatsoever a distraction or like an excuse or anything like that. Um, and also like I mean, media needs to move on with it. Like, how many questions have they done on what about Luge? What about Luge? What about this for Luge? What you think? I'm like, people move on. He's gone. What you guys are expecting? Like media, what are they expecting the players to say? Oh yeah, he was terrible. We had the worst relationship. I'm glad that he left. No, nobody's gonna say that, even if it was true.
No, a
None
great
of them
point.
in the club are gonna say anything bad. None of them are gonna say anything out of the script in those scenarios. Stop asking the same bland, bland questions. Like you just what the answer is gonna be, and they have been like about 15 questions about the same topic in general. So just we need to move on. I mean, leave the players along with that. Like you can tell, like Berkey was like super um annoyed with like the third question about it on Friday or Thursday, whenever it was. He was like you could see his face like, can we ask something about something else, like the game? We have a game on Saturday. Like someone asked me something about it instead of like just keep commenting about the guy that just left. Uh, and I didn't listen to the presser after the game, but
Mhm.
Jeremy, you mentioned that there was someone mentioning something about Lutz again, and Lewin had to respond. Obviously, the same thing that he needed to be responded, and nobody was gonna say anything else. The same thing that when they fire a coach, it's they're just gonna be polite. They're gonna stay on the script. They're not gonna get in trouble, and they're not gonna get out of their ways to make anybody feel bad or anything like that. So
Yeah, because it's been there, done that.
Yep. Um, I so going back to the game for a second, Mo, I hate to go all the way back to the joiner conversation.
Oh, go ahead.
I had a thought that I had forgotten until I just looked at that. So we're down 2-0 when Joiner comes on. I wonder, is the feeling when Joiner comes on something one of, okay, we have nothing else to lose, let's get the kid some minutes, or is it let's see what the kid can do to change the game?
Let's see what the kid can do to change the game. Because if you think about it, we're not really inspired um, by most of the game, especially
Mhm.
offensively. And I think by just helping them, maybe if it was some weird way, but looks like there was a little bit more pep and step on the team itself. Sometimes you need that one spark plug to inspire the others. And he was being a pest on the left side.
Yeah.
And he's shown that he's not afraid to take on defenders that are much older than him, bigger, stronger, and faster. Because he could have had two goals headers, if that one was not wide. Which, do you recall anything like that happened before he came in?
I mean, the Klaus misses were probably the closest we had. Let me. I mean,
So
I'm
there
just
was
on
like
the.
two threats.
So we had. So all right. So in the second half, Leuven had a shot off of a free kick that missed. Klaus had a miss in the 76th minute. Sang Bin in the 78th minute that was a save. Falou Fall had a header in the 82nd. Joiner's header that you just talked about that went across the face of goal was in the 82nd. Klaus had a shot blocked in the 83rd. We get the Leuven goal in the 86th, Joiner's goal in the 89th, and Klaus's. So there really weren't a lot of great opportunities. I mean, even realistically, Leuven and Joiner's goals are what 0.03 and 0.05 xg, so it wasn't like they were bangers of shots, but this just goes to show when you throw the ball in a dangerous spot, good things happen.
Yeah, and one thing that worked well for Jordan, if you saw, is that he was finding open space a lot more. I don't know if they were underestimating his skills or others, but you could see on the left he was open a lot more, and no one was covering him. So that's where he was able, at least for the 10 minutes or so, was able to be more of a pest, because now they had to cover Klaus, but also the young kid that's on the left side. Um, that just missed the header, and comes to find out, you give him a second chance at a header, and he does not make a mistake on that one. And I think put him in on two was after the Vancouver game. You don't want him to brew too much on the bench, thinking about what may have happened the last game. So what better way to erase that out of your mind than to freaking score a goal on his birthday?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I think Joyner came in more loose, just knowing like kind of like that praise, like that confidence is, hey, you just earned your contract as a first team, and I mean you're playing on your birthday. Those all those things that like I just wanted to point out, like he played 31 minutes. He got 18 touches, I believe, and I'm just looking at Hartel that played the entire game. He had 56, and they were kind of like in the same position. Um, he my so the reason I'm mentioning Hartel is like because I was shocked that he did not have one shot on or off target. Like he didn't take a shot the entire game. And
Out
for
of
Hartel,
50.
that's and yeah, 56 touches. But the only thing that it says is just it says touches in the opposition box. He only had one.
Mm.
I mean, he wasn't as influential as I thought. The thing that, and you know what's actually, Oscar, what's interesting now that you mention all of that is looking at the way St. Louis progressed the ball, whether it was down, in the final third or into the box, we didn't do much, if any, progression in the middle. It was all down the wings. So you would have expected Hartle to be more involved. If I'm looking at this, he had 2 unsuccessful take-ons, 8 progressive passes, 2 key passes. Um, but the thing that I don't know, it's he was really covering all over the field though. He was looking at his heat map. He was on both sides of the field quite a bit.
So do you think that they're starting to cover him a lot more, which probably take a little bit more of his involvement out of the play?
I just think we don't have a player that brings him the ball where is when where he is successful.
Right.
When Lewin and Ostrak get in advanced positions where they can bring the ball to him, like he's more dangerous. Um, and that's kind of like what Joyner exploded because now he had Lewin on Hartel kind of like taking all those people away from that that zone, and Joyner had a little more space. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to also think that he came as a sub. He brings a lot of energy. He's young. Can create spaces, and also that Houston was on the hey, we're up to nothing, then 3-0. They kind of like take the foot off the gas a little bit, sit back a little bit, so they let City play a little bit more with the ball, trying to find chances. And the last that I would say that I don't know if it will be true or not is because I don't know anything about the Houston squad, but at the same time, I know they're in the middle of the table. So I'm assuming their first 11 are decent. But then when you make your subs during the game, the quality drops the same way that City does. So like if if they made subs that they drop the quality, they just gave more chances for City to go in the attack phase, knowing that they were up 3-0.
So real quick, I wanted to share this graphic from Insight 90. So the specific piece on the right hand side. So this is Marcel Hartle. You can see his touches and the zones of his touches is in blue. The zone of his pass reception is in red. So to me, if you look at it, I wonder if it's more of he's we've been told he's given the freedom to roam on the pitch, right? So even though he might say he's the left winger in a 4-2-3-1, clearly you can see here by his actions he's roaming around. And I wonder if that also makes it sometimes harder for him to get involved, because if he's roaming, he's not going to be that critical piece to progressing the ball, right? Like if he's flowing, they're not always going to go through him because he may always be moving. So it's going to open up, as you guys were talking about, channels for other players to run into for space, whether it's Padelford running down the left or Sang Bin on the right or Leuven to come up into those advanced places to play balls into the box. But you can kind of see even his passing actions over here. If I can get my cursor to highlight a couple of them, I don't think it'll be picked up, but you could the blue is a progressive pass. The purple are key passes, and where did they come in? One from the left, three kind of on the right channel, and his two key passes from the left. So he's all over, and I just wonder if that is why we see a lack of, I'm going to say, consistency and involvement from him. I mean,
I would,
maybe I'm off base, but I don't know. I think a lot of people see like Anders Dreyer in San Diego, and that's what they want Hartle to be for us. And I think that's why we also see people judging Hartle so harshly in a lot of ways.
yeah, but Dyer has like all the freedom in the world
Right.
to take on players, and as you can see, when our players take on one, once they get close to the box, they actually look, they stop and they look for the outside. They did cross the ball inside the box. Um, that Dryer goal that he made by dribbling
Mm-hmm.
three players, I don't think any players at City will be crazy enough to try that.
No. Well, you
They would
have to
have
have
taken their shot
confidence.
already.
Well, you have to have the confidence, and
Yeah.
I don't know if we have players who have the confidence to do that right now.
Even though they all have the skills
And
to do so.
I think Dryer has more quality in. I mean, he's a lot more talented than what our best players are. To be
Nah, he's
honest,
different.
just in that play it showed how composed and how explosive he is in that play.
Yeah, he made those
Well,
defenders look
like
bad.
yeah, I mean, and let's be real, that defender should have not dived there.
Yep.
Because he's a left-footed.
Mhm.
You let the left-footed take the shot with the right, not cut inside and take the shot. But it's up to Dryer to do it and make it happen. And I don't
True.
think none of our players get to do that. Hartel has become what you were saying, Jeremy, the one that floats everywhere, tries to be everywhere, and I don't think that helps him
Mhm.
to perform in the final third. It's great, like he helps the team a lot, and he moves around, finds spaces, gets the ball, or create spaces for others. But I think he was very successful last year because he was getting the ball in important parts of the field where he could drive in and try to make things happen. And now every time he gets the ball, is he's not in that position, and it could be because the way that he this season has been that City has been needing so much out of him, and he got that set mentality of like I have to do this, even though now we have Lewin and we have Ostrak that they're playing very well in those positions, but he still kind of gets into that random area where he wants to just get the ball when you don't need it, like you just need to push forward so you can find those spaces. Kind of like Klaus last year,
I'm trying to do too much.
trying to do too much. He
Mhm.
was not getting the ball, and he got desperate to try to go get the ball, and then he was never in the box.
Yeah,
I think fair assessment.
yeah, yeah. I agree. That's and it's and maybe Hartle isn't as good as Dryer. Maybe that's a different conversation. But they're used differently in the two different systems. So I agree. I think there's just too many because I only brought it up because, like I said, there's a lot of people that I've heard and read on social media that are like Hartle's a bust. He's not worth the mill. He shouldn't be a DP. Isn't having a good season. All of these things, and sometimes I think it has to go beyond the discussion of what are you doing statistically, right? You have to understand how they're being used in the system to understand maybe a little bit more about their value.
Jeremy, did we keep you away from stats for a second? What?
I don't feel good.
Damn. Okay. Yes. Nice.
Is it big? Is it because you we got score because it's your fault, or because of your beard, or because of Man United lost during the week against
Oh my
Grimsey,
goodness. That's a long
or
list.
because they celebrated like they won the
That's
Premier
Premier League.
League against Burnley
Burnley.
with a PK. What is it?
Oh my gosh.
God, the pain is real. God bless it. I don't know. I think it's just been too much. I finally just immersed myself in the fact that this sucks, and so I've accepted that the error of my ways.
Man. Jeez.
Ouch. He just went in. Oscar
Yeah,
went
he
in.
just listed them all. So
Ouch.
so do we have to talk about the beard now? Do we
I mean,
you
this
mentioned
was
it?
okay. This was a shaving error. It's coming back. I hate being baby faced. I can't stand this at all. It's bad. Don't make me turn my camera off. I'm self conscious. Not really.
So
But no,
Wait,
this was
wait.
an error.
so we're moving from Papa Bear now to Babyface.
God, no, no,
He's like,
no.
I
oh,
think so, Mo. I think
yeah,
so.
yeah,
No.
look at,
Oh,
yes,
great.
exactly.
Great. Great. Yep.
So
See, this is what
see,
happens.
picture,
What
and then
happens?
you were on Tom Franklin's zombie
I
soccer
was.
zombie now on videos. I saw that video. I was like, who is this young man over there? And then and then I see the tweet. It says, "Thanks, Jeremy, for being on the video." I'm like, no way.
Uh, Aaron, I wish I looked 21, my friend. I do not look 21. Good Lord. Uh, God.
Hey, babyface Jeremy or babyface something. We're gonna have to come
Hey,
No.
up with something.
he was in Fiesta Football, and I almost didn't recognize him. I was just walking by, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, sir, sorry, sir."
Hey, Mo did the same thing in the
Yeah,
concourse at halftime.
I walked by. I walked by him, and he's like, "Hey, Mo." I'm looking at. I'm like, "Oh snap, that's Jeremy."
Yeah. I get back with the ice cream and WhatsApp, Mo. Sorry. I'm like,
I'm like, "Sorry." So yes, so
oh my
Jeremy
God.
in disguise.
You know what? Incognito, as Aaron said after the game with my sunglasses. He didn't blame me for it. So, I don't know,
Oh,
guys. What's up?
looks like no. Tim just said he wish he could turn back the clock just by shaving. Jeremy, embrace it, bro.
Man, all right. This whole pod has gone off the rails. I need to go back to sabotaging the South End internet. That's what I've learned at this moment. No,
Hey,
in all seriousness, guys, I don't know where we go from here.
mm,
If we want to talk about the goals, or if we want to say we have a 2 point
uh,
gap between us and LA in the wooden spoon race, they have a game in hand.
no, I
Um,
think the only thing you want to shout out for the
yeah.
city players though is that
Oh yeah.
I think when Falu had that error, um
Yeah.
all of the players a lot of the players went and kind of pepped him up, talk. This is one of those things that we were missing in like the whole team in general, that if something bad would happen, those players will probably be by themselves when the reset. So it's kind of good to see maybe there's that to, togetherness
Hmm.
of the team. So there's spirits in there. Um, they show us the fighting spirit towards the end. So it's one of those things where they're showing us like a small snippet of what they're capable of, but we're just waiting to see that as a full 90 minutes.
Well, I, I guess the question, Mo, you brought up the energy there. Why does it take 70 to 75 minutes to get that? Why, especially at home, why don't we have that right out of the gate?
Because I saw it for most of the season. When you have a certain player that the city they play in means more to them than anything else,
Mhm.
aka Joyner, that just that spark there, he plays for more than just CDSC. He's playing for his whole community, his friends, where he grew up, his parents were there. There's that one point to prove of why he's part of the first team now.
Mhm.
And that's what some of the City 2 guys have, where you see them have fun, enjoy what they're doing. I saw that from Joyner on that game because of like, it was like a spark plug. You could see the difference, the intensity when he wanted to take on players, he wanted to do something.
Mhm.
If you saw part of his when he scored that goal, he took the ball out of the net and put it back in the middle. And then when Leuven scored and the goalkeeper's trying to waste time, Jorner actually went behind the net, took the ball that was
Grab
on
the
the
other one.
podium, he grabbed it, and then he ran and put the ball in the circle. Those are the small things that we even telling youth players is that there's these small things that you do that shows that you have still that urgency that you want to do more. And it's the small things. You score a goal, he celebrated a little bit, took the ball out of the net, put it in the middle. Leuven scores. The other guy tried to waste time. When everybody else is either walking or jogging back into place, he's behind the net, pick up the ball and put it. These are the small things that I saw it, and that gets you a little excited because it's like we're not the only one that wants the game to hurry up. If another player takes the ball, wasting time, guess what? Get close to him. I don't care if you start something, go get it. If the goalkeeper puts the ball and then try to flip it like they always do to waste time, go close to him. The referee is going to tell you to back up, but guess what? Now they have to hurry up and kick the ball. So it's just this little menace movement that he did that makes it a spark plug. Put a player on there. First year was Miggy, scores a goal, everybody goes crazy, everybody's talking about it. Maybe they need that one story on the field that helps the rest of, like politicians do, right? When
Mhm.
something bad happened, they do something else to make you forget about the thing you're talking about. Maybe this is what needs to happen with this certain situation. Season is bad, but hey, we got a kid that just went with the U20 national team and he scored on his birthday. No,
Yep, this is
small
true.
things.
That's what we build on now, right?
Yes. And who's next?
and then and then now talk about the end of the game where only like 5 or 6 players went around the field.
Oh boy, that's
Well, I mean, Berkey was too busy yelling at Hackworth on the bench. So, I mean, after
Well,
the game, he
he
had
didn't
no interest. What's that?
he, he didn't even he didn't even bother to shake hands with anybody. That okay, I get it. You're pissed. Um, but he didn't move out of the bench. Even like the goalkeeper from Houston went all the way down there to shake hands with him.
Mhm.
He didn't bother to stand up. He's just sitting down and like shook hands with him over there. Um, but he was not the only one. I believe like Klaus did like a half ish round and went back into the locker room. Um, but hey, so I'm not criticizing it. I'm not. It's just like, is there unity as a team or not? Did we lose as a team and we win as a team or not? Because I get the frustration. I get all the you're mad, but then you see all the team, other players that they're not mad. They're laughing. They're going around the full stadium, but they're all talking to each other and they're laughing. They're big smiles, and I was like, I'm actually more upset the ones that they go around and laugh when you just lost again than the ones that they were mad because at least you're showing me you care.
Mhm.
You're upset because this season has not been the greatest. It's for people are like, hey, well, we wanted Bergen to come out, like do all around, like Klaus and all that, but I prefer that you're mad and you go in. That's okay. Like I respect that. Like, and you don't have to like. I know we like and we say like, oh, you guys need to come more to the supporter section or come first to the supporter section. I, that's us asking, but it's not something they have to. Like they're not whatsoever. It's not a demand. It's not in their contract that they have to. If they want to finish the game and walk into the locker every single time, they can do that. It is what it is.
right.
But it just and we have seen it. It was a problem in the Vancouver game that the laughs and the even if they were sarcastic or not, but the laughs and the joking around and they're handshaking and hugging and all that after losing a game like that. And then you come to this game again and you perform, let's say poorly. It wasn't that bad of a game, but at the same time you were still losing 3-0 in some point. And until the 85th minute you start reacting. So you end that game and you come around and then you're just laughing and like saying jokes with your teammate or something like we can see you. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the names because I just don't want to get into it because it will be, but it was just two players and two of our main players, and you're like, and I see them and they're just like laughing when they're going by our the supporter section. I'm like, what is it to laugh about right now? What is laughable about?
Yes.
You know, I guess I don't know. Without being in the conversation, I don't want to speculate. I know a lot of them have their kids with them, so it could be, it could be family things that they're laughing about as the kids are running around on the field. I don't know, but I do agree with the general sentiment as you kind of would like to see a little more emotion, right? A little bit more frustration visually from the guys, yeah, especially if you've come to the game, you've watched them go down 3-0 at home, you've stayed, and you've still been loud or as loud as you can collectively, and you've waited for them to come along. It's not asking for too much just to see a nice thank you. And I would even almost at this point, knowing that we've only won 4 times at home in league play, come over and talk to us about this. I mean, I know we're like the supporter groups collectively haven't demanded it, but I mean, Emil Forsberg went over to the Red Bull supporters, I believe it was after their last game, and said, "Hey, you know what? Stick with us." And I know they're in the race for the playoffs. They're not us. They're not down in the cellar like we are. But that should even be more reason to be a little bit of accountable. And I'm not saying be accessible and come spend 20 minutes having a conversation, but actually acknowledge the people that are there, especially the people, and again, like you, Oscar, and the capos, the people that are there doing load ins, the people that are there doing all of the extra stuff beyond just what you see during the, I don't know, 95 minutes of a game or here during that time, because it's deserving of that at this point.
Yeah, and I think still cultural. I think there's certain players or how they've been brought up during their soccer career, I guess we'll say, that will maybe create some of that willingness to go to fans and maybe have some discussion, or if there's some sort of like relationship between those two groups. Um, but also we do know that they do read a lot of comments everywhere, and fortunately, the ones that they see on social media is not the nicest you can think of.
Mm.
Um, but
How you
also,
want those? How you want those comments to change if you don't interact with your fan base?
yeah, or maybe just reach out to some part of the supporters, maybe. And you guys have, the leaders and others. Maybe that's how to reach out. And sometimes it does not even have to be in front of the camera. Or I know in some sections, and I will keep that away from like the um, American sports. I will say the Chelsea that I know and the PSG that I know and stuff, where some certain supporter groups actually every year there's certain players that are actually that go and meet with the supporters. If there's like a gathering or if there's a board meeting of a supporter group or something, you will see like
Mm.
I think the last one I remember was Lampard was at a supporter group of Chelsea at the board meeting as like a representative of the club. So you see how it built some of that relationship on, and when you see those big things that happen in those big stadium, the players that walk up to, they just don't walk up to a random person.
Yeah.
They know exactly who they're walking to and talk to, because also
Mhm.
there's the whole security thing in others. But like Italy, when we saw those players that were, and then they were letting a guy, talk very close to one of their professional soccer player. Do you really think it was just a random person they let talk? No, it's someone that's already chosen or in certain position. So I think that's maybe that culture that's also missing, to where yes, the supporter groups get some of that, to work with the club, with the chants, the tifo and all that. But is there that one connection that goes beyond just the entertainment side of things? Maybe that's Oscar, maybe, but I don't know if that.
I don't. I don't think there
Yeah,
is because I don't think the club wants that at this moment.
yeah. So I think
Like
so. I think that's
you
the
don't
part
see
where,
that relationship. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's where a lot of the supporter groups that we know, or that I know, are beyond just a supporter group. Is
Mhm.
that they have the ear of someone else in the club, beyond just if something bad happens, then someone goes and talk to them. Is that when the season start, or before the season, or during the off season, there still a connections between them. It's not just a transaction, or it's not just pull out a fire. Is that, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is some of the things we're thinking about doing. All of the things that I don't know, what happens with City and the supporter groups, but what I've seen and experienced with um my
Yeah.
sort of bigger clubs.
Well, I think it's the lack of, and Aaron is pointing out like great things over there. It's like we don't have our leader or our coach that creates a relationship with the supporters. The first year, I remember Cornell was very active on praising the supporters. Pretty much every single presser that he was up, he used to say something about the supporters and how thankful he was, how great the supporters section was, how the even like not just the supporters but the entire stadium was. And then every game that it like every end of the game, I remember looking at Cornell and getting the group together. They will all walk together as a group, and then they will come tied and go and praise the fans and the supporters. But that was like lead by Cornell. It was not lead by anybody else. And then obviously he left, and um, seasons have not been good, so it doesn't seem that anybody else cares enough to like put like, hey, we gotta do this. We have to thank our fans. Like what Jeremy was pointing out, it has been a horrible season, and you still have the supporter section full and loud, and you still have people that they stay after a game of 85 minutes losing 3-0, and you still have fans out there like they're still cheering for you. The least you could do is to come as a group and really show you have that type of appreciation. Um, but it needs to become with a leader. It needs to come with a player that connects with the fans, that wants them to be like, hey, like we gotta do this, or your coach. And I thought Critchley had more of that. Like I think the first game he kind of like went, and the first thing that he did was just come to the supporter section really fast, like come on guys, like thank you or something. But I haven't seen him since then. Like he hasn't been like any
Mhm.
whatsoever. And I he's he's fighting to get a job. Like he's concerned on his own things and whatever. But I guess part of your job is also like connecting with your fan base.
Yeah, that's a huge piece.
It is.
I have a few stories of like Carnell. I think one time was when I think there was a lady that had the South Africa flag. He literally tapped blew him on the shoulder and then pointed at the lady, and he ran up and gave her a jersey. And I guess the others, when kids were asking for signatures of the players, you could see him look back to see where everybody was at, and then you see him sprint down to the supporter because they knew that. Guess that was a requirement from the team, maybe,
Yeah.
or from the
Well,
coach.
Mm-hmm.
oh my God. Yeah, you mentioned that. Like I remember, um, there was a game and someone was like really stuck on the first corner,
Yeah,
like just signing an autograph or talking to someone, and like the entire team was almost on the end of the by the supporters, and it either like Cornell said something or Cornell told someone to say something, but it's just like you could see a guy sprinting from that corner. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble.
yeah,
So he just sprint all the way down, and it's like, but now it's just like it's whatever. Like they do whatever. Yeah, and I'll give a shout out. I think Aaron said it over there in the chat as well. But uh, Orozco did came in uh with his parents, and he had a good exchange in the support sections where I was standing, and we have our new superhero, our city girl, beautiful young girl that she has been wearing. She made her um whatever it's called face.
nice.
I wear mask whatever, and she has her cape, and it's just amazing. And Orozco came in, signed an autograph for the picture, what picture she had, and they had a really nice exchange. So Orozco is has shown that he does want to connect with the fans, and I mean not being BS, but obviously connecting with the Latino fan base because he knows that we are supporting and giving everything for him to to be successful. So that was really good from him. And obviously his parents were behind him, and they were super excited about it. So
Mm-hmm.
See, it's cultural. I told you, it depends on how you've raised in the soccer community, and it will determine on how close you are to your fan base.
Well, so and so hang on, because I do think weeks back McSorley did the same thing. He went to the Santos group, and I do think, not to get into the politics and one supporter group versus another, but it is worth definitely mentioning that Santos is very visible at City 2 games. They are, so to me there's a connection established between guys, whether it's Hazy or it's McSorley or any of the other City 2 guys. I feel like there's a bond there because they know that you've supported them there and they know you're supporting here. So maybe I'm wrong, but to me that's how I see it from just somebody who's on the other side of the north end.
Oh no, maybe this year I've not been to many City Two games as I used to, but the first 2 years I can tell you it's loud, and they were the one I guess that even had the tifo, the first
Mm-hmm.
tifo of this MLS
Yeah.
next game. Um, when I've been there, we're talking what 3, 4, 5 of the support, um, maybe what 10, 12, and they're all in one sections, make noise. So it definitely have shown that that's how you build a relationship with the players, like I was
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you see, they see you, they recognize you, and then that's how that bond is created, and it's a forever bond because then they all know that if you build that relationship with those fans, they will be your fan no matter what. You're
Yeah.
playing like crap, you're playing like a superhero, they will have your back. So those build it, and it's usually a bond that's never gets broken, and then they follow
Yep.
you everywhere.
Yep.
And like Tim said, it's all organic. It's a give and take, like everything else in life.
yeah,
But
I would say, and because I'm in the group and I know how like things are handled, but it just this group and I'm not saying anything about the other groups. I don't know how they work, how they do their things in their own areas, but we do like to create that relationship with the players. We do like to support, like obviously we support them, we support everybody on the team, but we like to create those moments where um we can connect, we can be with you in an event and like invite you and if you show up and like it's great. Like last year when we had our one of our fundraisers for clean up a park, that we have our Derby de Mente, that is like a friendly tournament. We play futsal. We had Kijima came in and hang out with us. The year before we had Watts, we had Jado, and
You had the
um,
two
the
AZ
couple
and
Armstrongs,
yes, the brothers. Yes.
the brothers. They went there, so like we like to do those things, and I mean we will be extremely happy if in some point in one of our events Berkey shows up or Hartel shows
Mhm.
up. Like it will be amazing. Like we're not just looking into hey the Latinos and we're just gonna be the Latinos because that's not how our group is. Is everybody like no matter where you come from, if you want to be part of our group, you're welcome. And the same way, like for the players, if you want to be part of our events and you want to be creating that relationship, obviously we're gonna open the arms for you and open the doors for you and say that how amazing you as a person and as a player you are, because that's why we're here for. We're to celebrate and to everybody to integrate in the community. So
Yeah, see, I'm one of the official, unofficial. I I have
There
my
you go.
stuff in there. I'm, I guess, official, officially
you're
unofficial.
official.
I just have to show up to the supporter section, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yep.
But yes, but with that say, closing out this crazy game, we'll call it. Um, but then next we have one Texan team coming to town, and then we have another one coming as well, which is Dallas.
Yep,
You
another
want?
game, another contest with the Texans side. They beat us what 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, I think 3-0 down in Dallas. They've never won in St. Louis, by the way. They haven't played in St. Louis since July or since let me look here. The last time they played was League's Cup last season, I think. Yeah. League's Cup last year, we beat them 2-1, but they've never won in St. Louis at City Park or Energizer Park. All time, they are 3-2 against us. They've outscored us in the series 9-4. But again, three of those goals came in the last meeting. It's a tale of teams that are in two different kinds of form. We've lost three in a row. Dallas has gone has taken points in four of their last five, including draws against LAFC. So they spoiled Sun Heung-min's debut with a 1-1 draw in LA, or against LA rather. They drew at Austin. They had a win against Portland and a win over us. Their only loss in their last five was a strange one up against New York City FC down in Texas by the score 4-3. So, team led by Petter Musa. He's got 19 goal contributions on the season. No one besides him has more than six. So he'll be the key to stop. Um, but it's an interesting matchup because, like I said, they're in good form, but they've never won in St. Louis.
That's the start. Oscar, anything about you want to share?
Uh, I mean, I wouldn't brag too much about like they haven't win in St. Louis because one
Just
was
take
a
it.
Leagues Cup, last year was 0-0, and then the first 2023 was 2-1 win, but the same time, like we never beat them over there, and we have never scored a goal in Dallas.
That's fair.
So it's
Just take
it,
it,
it
Eli. Just take it.
no, it just because let's 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 say so Dallas still has a chance to
Well, yeah.
make the playoff. They have 30 points. The nine place has 35. They have a game in 2 games in hand for Dallas. They have played 27 games in San Jose. That is the ninth has played 29. So if you put yourself in their place, you win the 2 games that you have in hand. You made 36 points. You're already in playoff contention.
Yep.
You're on player spot. Um, they're gonna come hungry, and they know they beat us 3-0 not long ago.
Yeah.
So let's read
So
the
it's
bloopers.
so and then you see like Houston came and get a result. So it just those situations in. I mean, for City, could just be another day, another game. Keep move on with your life. So I don't know if that's a good matchup for. Um, I hope they just get some motivation and somehow, some way, maybe that they are 2 points away from the wooden spoon. So maybe they want to fight to not be that. At the same time that it's just a last place for them. It doesn't really matter. It's not that you're being relegated. It's not that you're gonna maybe lose your job, but
Mm,
we'll see.
some of them are at risk.
Uh, Oscar, thank you for playing the opposite role. I'm glad that you brought the realistic side of this game. I was trying to be more positive, my friend, but I'm glad that you brought the stats that really matter, because it's really irrelevant that they've never won in St. Louis. It's just a hey, how you never beat us here. You know?
I will take.
And
You're right.
you want another stat? I'm
Yeah,
not
bring
gonna
it.
be straight on the stat, but how many teams that they never beat us? They beat us this year.
Yeah,
Miami.
I don't know that. I don't know that
No,
one.
I'm saying
I don't
like
know
the
that
ones
one.
that like the ones that we say like,
Yeah.
oh, we always beat them here in City Park, or and then
I mean,
they come here and
Houston was one of them.
Houston was one.
Yeah, Houston was one.
I know one that we keep the streak is LA Galaxy. I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've not
'Cause
been
I think
lost.
LA Galaxy is one of the teams that we just keep in our good side.
Mhm.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I mean, I think everybody has come and enjoyed the visit to City Park this year.
Oh, it's the city park.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up and post that on socials.
It's always City Park.
'Cause
Sorry.
yeah, oh no, I mean, we're not changing the chant, so no, I would be curious to see when you look there at so I'll see if I can do some digging on that. Um but yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting one. Again, Petter Musa is a name to watch for our back line. He scored I think he had a penalty and one from open play in the last game we played, I think. So um I'm gonna try to be optimistic and say we get at least a point out of it with a draw. Let's go 2-2. That's like I think my early prediction without seeing unavailable players. I might change it later, but starting with a 2-2 draw at home.
I just don't want to get beat by a guy that have my my name as well. Let's not make it happen at Anders either.
Maybe
If
you
it's
can get his shirt.
well, I don't know.
You know, if it was one
Would
of
I
those
not
black
get in?
burn,
Why would I not get in trouble for this one?
I don't know. It was hey, if it's one of those black burn kits, I wouldn't mind that. Those actually look kind of sharp.
Yeah,
Those
but on those
throwback
just
Dallas
at
burn
home though.
ones. Yeah, I can't imagine they'd wear them on the road.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool to
Um,
have one that has my name on it, but I don't know. I do need the
Yeah,
Dallas
that
just
that white
jersey.
one is very ugly.
Yeah.
The Dallas White kid is very ugly, but
Oh,
that's
it's
okay.
not like they're the greatest in many places.
Yeah.
No.
I would maybe say 1-1, but I think it will be like a 2-1 loss. But
Hmm.
it just, hey, I was positive on Saturday. I put two near to win, and
Yeah.
I got the two,
Just the wrong one.
but not the
So,
three against.
speaking of the two, by the way, they are unbeaten. And real quick on City 2 before Mo, you can give your prediction on the first team. I want your opinion. So City 2 so they drew against Dynamo 2 yesterday.
Mhm.
They lost the extra point in PKs. Tech, do you still say the unbeaten streak is alive, or is the unbeaten streak over? Because technically the club says it's a draw, so we're still unbeaten. They don't care about the extra point.
It's just still
What
unbeaten
say you? Okay.
because
The
I would.
record, the way that the league manages is that the record is a tie. So yes, so you didn't lose in
Okay.
in
Okay.
regulation, but it just it plays a little bit on there, like, oh, but you still lost
Yeah.
the extra point,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
15
think
unbeaten
it's
for
yeah,
City 2. Good for
yeah.
them.
I think it's just that MLS Next Pro don't want to make it boring, so they made sure that there's a
Mm-hmm.
winner at the end. But if I guess in regular soccer term, since that doesn't happen anywhere else but there.
Hey, and Aaron in the chat, look, I'm raising the question just because Tom Timmerman from the Post Dispatch was trying to argue it on Twitter. Okay. He was trying to make the point that it was over because we lost on penalties. So I had to bring it here to the two experts that I trust and let them have a say.
Wow, don't put too much pressure on us now before they all show up and says
Look,
these
I'm the
guys
baby
said.
face here. Okay. No,
yeah.
I'm the baby face. I have to yield to you guys.
We're gonna have so many people in our blue sky going like, oh, you're the iceberg.
We just know enough to be dangerous. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yep. Mo, what do you think from the game on Saturday against Dallas? Did you give
I'm
your
gonna get
prediction
in
yet?
trouble. 2-1 CD.
Hey, okay. Hey, at least somebody's got a stake in all the points. I wouldn't be mad at it, to be honest.
I mean, what better way to be a
Yeah,
party pooper and take points away since we could do
yeah,
from for Houston. So let's
yeah.
help the others.
Gotta have something to celebrate at some point. Before we get out of here, guys, one other thing I forgot to mention it earlier. There was what could be the first rumor of a potential candidate for one of our openings. Nathan from St. Louis City Press actually caught it first. Danny Roll, a German coach who most recently coached at Sheffield Wednesday, was at Energizer Park this past or at least recently. I don't know if he was at the game, but he was at the park recently. He was also in Vancouver when we were in Vancouver. Could mean something, could mean nothing. He coached Sheffield Wednesday for 655 days, according to Transfermarkt. That's 89 games, winning 34 of the 89, of points per game of 1.36 before he was dismissed. He's also served time as an assistant manager for the German national team. And during the looks like 1920 and 2021 seasons at Bayern Munich. So he's had and also had experience with Southampton, RB Leipzig, and Leipzig's youth and U17s. So he's heavily experienced in Germany, a little bit outside of Germany and England, but just an interesting name as we start to hear things in the next few months and as we enter the off season. It was interesting to see that pop up yesterday, I believe it was.
I would say thanks for visiting. Have a nice trip back home.
So is it because of the results aren't great, or because he's not an MLS coach, or both? Like he doesn't have history. Like
I don't.
is experience in
I
MLS
think
a
it.
must?
I mean, if his biggest job was Sheffield United, yes, I'm not.
Yeah.
not
I think
very
he's on
excited
vacation.
about. I mean, it's just you mentioned German, so like it's obviously that he had a contact with Lud, so it's just that relationship. And then now, if we have a lot of German players, so sure, it could be something to work there, maybe style of play, knowing how the players behave, things like that. But your your main your biggest job so far was Sheffield United. And yes, you did work with national teams like you mentioned in Bayer, and he could be very good. But I mean, but maybe as an assistant coach, as in something like that, he may be good to take care of a team that is struggling. To take a team that needs a boost. I would not be very excited about.
Okay.
I think the way his schedule look like sounds more like vacation and checking on friends and stuff.
Sure.
I mean, he's been to three places, and we know Vancouver is not looking for a new coach.
But he was when we were there.
Yeah, it was the Mueller game, the debut.
But yeah, Mueller is there though. There's a German guy.
Yeah.
Bam. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
mean, again, could like I said, could be something, could be nothing. Just thought it was an interesting name that
Yeah.
popped up across socials the last few days.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
Mo,
they should.
who comes for vacation to St. Louis?
A lot of people. Now we have a direct flight from here to Frankfurt, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think someone comes and goes and posts a picture of City Park and says, or Energizer Park and says, "Oh, I was here to have fun and be on
Well,
vacation."
maybe he's gonna build. Maybe he's gonna build stadium, or he wants to check, hang out with friends. But I guess the question is, when that picture was taken, was Lutz still there?
Was Lutz still in there?
Yeah, yeah. So, and you know how
we
a
won't
lot
know.
of these famous people they put their pictures after they completed all of this, so that people cannot follow their timestamp and all that. So I think it's definitely interesting, but will the club be interested on looking outside
Mhm.
for a new coach when they're already 0-2?
Yep. That's the
Yeah.
question. Well, and only time will tell.
Yes. But with that say, looks like we'll still be at Energizer Park Saturday, bringing the energy. We know what Oscar does on the weekly basis when at the stadium. Jeremy, hopefully you'll have a little bit more hair so I don't miss
Yeah.
you in the corridors. And I'll try to get Peter Musa's jersey. Just kidding. But with that say, guys, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Let's go City.
See you out there on Saturday.
All
Keep it
right.
on going.
Take it easy. Peace.